Welcome back to Perkins Pipes. Yes, you see the deep purple hat on. Yes, you see the striper shirt on. And yes, we've got out the gorgeous RBC meerschaum pipe. I think it is the most beautiful pipe in my collection. And all of these come together for what we're going to talk about. What is that? You know where we're going. Let's get this guy lit. Let's get to talking. Felt I needed a beautiful pipe because we're going to be talking about, for my money, a beautiful musical instrument, the electric guitar. And I'm wearing my striper shirt and my deep purple hat because two of the guitarists I want to talk about are from these two bands. Now, let's clear something up right away. I don't play guitar. Played a little bit of acoustic, like a little bit, when I was an undergraduate. My son has long since taken that guitar, or I gave it to him. He's picked up a couple electric guitars along the way himself. He plays far more than I ever did. And so I'm certainly not knowledgeable. Let's be clear about that. All right? I'm not speaking from a perspective of expertise on this instrument. I'm just telling you some guitarists that I love and some of the guitars I love that they play. Now, there's a few things that will get people talking and, not fighting, but a rivalry, like ranking your favorite guitarists. And if you have any kind of list, top 10, top 100, doesn't matter. Somebody's going to say, how could you have that list and not have so-and-so on there, right? And that's part of the fun of it. So, the question at the end is going to be, who do you like, whom do you like in guitarists, and any of the people that I like? Do you share a fondness for them? You kind of know where that's going to be headed. So let's jump right into it. And this is in no order whatsoever. I think I'm going to mention six guitarists. And again, no order at all, but we'll start off here with Eric Clapton. Yes, I like Clapton. Like Clapton in Cream. Like Clapton's solo stuff. He's just a master of the electric guitar. Dearly loved the Unplugged show that he did on MTV back in the 80s. And for my money, the original Layla by Derek and the Dominoes and his acoustic version are two totally different songs, and I love them both. Probably actually do like the acoustic one even better. There's something about Clapton's playing that to me is so effortless. Now, of course, we know that the really greats at anything, right? They make difficult stuff look easy, and it's not. When I watch Clapton play, and I'm just watching his fingers working up and down the neck, I'm watching his hand pick the notes out of the strings. It definitely is one of those experiences where it looks like it's a part of him. Okay? I think it's one of the things that a lot of us like about pipes. They look good in the mouth. All right? They just look good on you. That's what I like about hats, ball caps, especially cowboy hats. And for Clapton, the guitar just is a part of him. I'm not going to pick any particular songs. Just almost all of them are great. Just love what he does. And it just feels that, again, it's an extension of him. I'm going to mention a guy that I bet some of you do not know, although guitarists in the know this guy. fellow by the name of Rex Carroll. Rex Carroll could have had a huge career, especially in the 80s with the hard rock and metal and that kind of stuff. Which is why I think I enjoy his sound. Instead, he's the guitarist for a Christian metal band called White Cross. Quite a bit of success in White Cross. You kind of think of some of the kind of the three big Christian hard rock and metal acts were White Cross, Petra, and Stryper. Rex Carroll's done stuff on his own. He's done another side project called Fierce Heart. But primarily, he's a guitarist for White Cross. Fabulous blues rock kind of bass sound, morphing into metal, as so much of that blues rock morphed into metal in the 80s did. White Cross is still putting out fabulous, fabulous music. And had a chance to interview Rex a couple times on the podcast that I did with Pastor Wildman, the Wildman and Steve show. Rex was classically trained, and it shows in his playing. Now, the tone that he gets out of his guitar very much seems like it would have been at home in a Whitesnake, a Cinderella, maybe a Van Halen, sort of a band. If you know those bands, then maybe that sound will intrigue you, and you certainly go check out Rex's stuff. Some of his solo stuff was really straight blues, so he's very, very bluesy in that vein. Very much a technical player. Rex is in his own little world when he's playing, and every note is just right. And certainly when it comes to the recordings, he's not going to release it unless every note is exactly where he wants it to be and sound the way he wants. So very, very technically precise player. Love his stuff. Got to talk about, I am kind of working my way through kind of in the way I want to talk about these guys. Going to go to Jimmy Page. Jimmy Page, Led Zeppelin, right? Yeah, he did The Firm and did a little solo stuff. Before Zeppelin, of course, he was a session player. Most people know him from Zeppelin. And I love Jimmy's acoustic stuff. Huge fan of Led Zeppelin 3 and Houses of the Holy, where you get a lot more of the acoustic stuff. They get a little bit of that and some other stuff, like you think about Going to California on Led Zeppelin 4, but album 3 and Houses of the Holy have a lot more of the acoustic stuff. Love that. Where I would say Rex is in his own little world. Rex Carroll. Jimmy is just in a different space when he plays. You have the feeling that you're simply looking through a dimensional portal into some other location where Jimmy Page is. Played different kinds of guitars, right? The Gibson, he played the Telecaster, early on, and I played Strats and so forth. He's another one different from Clapton, in my impression, as I think about the watching them play and listening to them play. But I wouldn't necessarily call the guitar a part of him the way it is with Eric Clapton, but he is coaxing things out. He's drawing things out. It's almost like Michelangelo taking a block of marble, and next thing you know, you got David. You're going, how did that get out of there? Somebody taking a block of meerschaum and carving a gorgeous pipe, and you say, well, how did that get to that? That's Jimmy Page and the notes that he coaxes forth. And I may have mentioned it on here before. There are more complex guitar solos than the one he plays in Heartbreaker on Led Zeppelin 2, 1969. But there is no guitar solo that will probably ever mean more to me. I remember where I was when I heard it for the very first time. And the song is just going along, and it's great. And all of a sudden, the singing stops. Robert Plant stops singing. And you get Jimmy. And he starts doing this. And there's a little bit of pause there, right? The great ones, they know how to use space in their music. And it's don't and I love that solo so much. And that is, I'm almost positive, is on a Les Paul. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong about that, pop something in the chat there. Next, I want to talk about my guy right here, Michael Sweet, lead guitarist, lead singer for Stryper. He's done some other projects, done some albums with George Lynch from Lynch Mob, and he's done 3 albums with George Lynch called Sweet and Lynch. They formed a group. He's done a couple albums called. He formed a band called Sun Bomb with Tracy Guns. Maybe you remember the L.A. Guns back in the 80s. He was really into any singing. I think just did guitar on a fabulous album called Iconic, or by a band called Iconic, was called Second Skin. Tommy Aldridge from Whitesnake did the drums. It's just an amazing super group. I love Michael Sweet's guitar, and especially, he's done a lot of solo work too, and I love a lot of his solo stuff, but especially in Stryper. Now, he's definitely a shredder. He's a guy who really shreds those notes. He's been with different guitar companies, Sully and Gibson. Not quite sure who he's with right now. But, and I think it would have been a Gibson, but he had a Flying V that he used to play. And one of the things about rock music, as I talked about before, there's a visual element to the music. And I'm sorry, I love this yellow and black striped Flying V. It's just cool as all get out. And in fact, I got a miniature Michael Sweet Flying V. There's a company that makes all kinds of miniature guitars of famous guitarists, and they do drums and stuff too. And I got a miniature one that's a magnet, and it's on my refrigerator in my house. It's Michael Sweet's guitar. Just shreds like crazy, plays the part of the rock god on stage, and it's so good with that. Got 2 more to go. Next up, original guitarist for Deep Purple, Mr. Ritchie Blackmore. Started in '68, left in the mid-'70s, formed Rainbow. Rainbow went on through the '80s. He got back with Deep Purple a little bit in the '80s, and then really the last 20 years or so, 30 years maybe, he's been doing this kind of medieval music. He really loves the acoustic stuff. Married a woman named Candace Knight, and so they've got a group called Blackmore's Night. Play a lot of Renaissance fair venues and that kind of stuff. I'm a crazy Deep Purple fan, as longtime watchers of this channel know, so you know I'm going to love Ritchie Blackmore. Ritchie is, in this regard, I'm going to say he there's aspects of Rex Carroll with him, in that when he's on stage and playing, he's very much in his own little world, kind of off by himself. And yet I think there's things similar to Jimmy Page. Now, all right, you want to talk about rivalry kind of between these two guys. But the similarity to me between Ritchie Blackmore and Jimmy Page is that they are both coaxing things out of the guitar that, again, like any other piece of art, you're saying, how did you get that out of that? And where, again, Rex Carroll, very, very precise. I think Clapton's a very precise player. Ritchie, not so much. Ritchie is searching for notes. And he would talk about this with Hendrix as well. Sometimes they've been missed notes. Not that the audience is really going to hear that maybe in a concert. But they're searching, they're feeling. And if you ever watch, I think Jimmy Page, you see this, but you see it a lot with Ritchie Blackmore. You watch their face, and Ritchie's face, when he's drawing and coaxing notes, he's just there's something evocative. It's evocative. He's evoking emotion and feeling, and it's in his face and it's in his hands, and he knows what he's doing like a chef with ingredients. And he is just creating every night new, fresh on stage, which is why Deep Purple's live stuff is so good, and often very different from the live or from the studio albums. The last one I'm going to mention is a guy you may know or may not know, a guy named Justin Johnson. Why this guy is not a household name, I don't know. Why this guy isn't part of a band, I don't know. But he is a dude on YouTube. And we're going to link to him, Justin Johnson. This guy plays blues like I've never heard blues played before. And he plays on all kinds of guitars, electric and acoustic. He's a big fan of the resonator style guitar. And he plays dark blues and swampy Delta blues and Chicago blues and he's big slide guitar player. I got the slide on his finger and sliding up and down there, and he's another guy who is creating in his own little world. Well, people will comment on his videos that when they see a new Justin Johnson video come out, they hit like before they even listen to it. Right? It's just that they know it's going to be that good, and for the next 4, 5, 6 minutes or whatever, you're going to be transported to a different place. And a lot of times it's slow and sultry, and it's if you like blues, there's nobody out there. Now, I know Joe Bonamassa. I love Joe Bonamassa and others, but I think there's nobody out there better than Justin Johnson. So this turned out to be a little bit longer video than I realized, talking about a lot of guys. So, do you know any of those guys? Do you like them? What do you think about them? Who are some of your favorite guitarists? As Malcolm Guite likes to say, I do these little things in order at last to do nothing. Or as I like to say in Latin, Parva ago ut tandem, nihil agam. Have a wonderful day.